Hey, it's Maureen Muldoon, and I'm out here on Madeline Island, and we're going to cover Lesson 97. Salvation comes from my one self. It says, although you're one self, you experience yourself as two, as both good and evil, loving and hating, mind and body. The sense of being split into opposites induces feelings of acute and constant conflict and leads to frantic attempts to reconcile the contrary aspects of this self-perception. So it's like saying that, we see ourselves as split, as fractured, as good and bad, but really we're one holy self, united with our Creator, and there's no reconciling it. Like, we have to just give up the idea that we are fractured. In fact, one of the lessons says, I am very holy. It's not something that people walk around saying, I am very holy, but that is the truth. It says, you have sought many such solutions, and none of them have worked. The opposite you see in you will never be compatible, but one exists. The fact that truth and illusion cannot be reconciled no matter how you try, what means you use and where you see the problem must be accepted if you will be saved. Until you accept this, you will attempt, which we probably have, an endless list of goals you cannot reach, a senseless series of expenditures of time and effort and hopefulness and doubt, each one as futile as the one before, and failing as the next surely will. Problems that have no meaning cannot be resolved within the framework they are set. So it's like they're saying, like, you can't solve the problem at the level of the problem. The problem is that you think you're broken and you need to go outside and fix yourself somehow. The solution is recognizing that you are whole, and that you are holy. Again, it might take a little time for this full acceptance to happen, but until that is done, we'll continue to be wrestling around in the problem. Two selves in conflict cannot be resolved, and good and evil have no meeting place. So, like I like to say, love and hate can't wear the same shoes. Like, you can only wear one pair of shoes. Are you going to walk in love, or are you going to walk in hate? And love is consistent, and so it has no drop of hate in it. It has only love. And so this is an all or nothing thing. It's not like we can marry our ragged ways to our holiness. We got to recognize that we are holy. And then once recognized, we have to start embodying that. Probably the embodiment comes first, because we can't fake it, really. You just have to recognize and embody the fact that you are holy, and let go of all the ragged and limited ways that we've defined ourselves, or have given ourselves permission to show up as unkind or inconsistent or out of love in any way, shape, or form. So can you imagine being fully in love 24/7 in all areas, in every relationship in your life? Can you imagine that? Because that's actually who you are. So the self you made can never be yourself, nor can yourself be split in two. So it's using capital and lowercase. So the self identity that we've made can never be our capital S self, nor can our capital S self be split in two and still be what it is and must be forever. A body and mind cannot both exist. No attempt to reconcile the two, for one denies the other can be real. If you are physical, your mind is gone from your self-concept, for it has no place in which it can be really part of you. If you are a spirit, then the body must be meaningless to your reality. So that's it. That's the all or nothing. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience for a temporary time, but the physical experience is like a parenthesis in the audaciousness of God, and it's just where man took a nap. It's just where we took a nap. So in this world we say, oh, are you enlightened? Have you woken up yet? And you say, no, I'm still napping. I'm taking a little nap. And that's why when people die and drop the body, they experience a lightness of being, because it's a major way where many people awaken to their Christ consciousness. Can you experience that while in the body? It seems like there are a handful of people that have done so. And the goal is not enlightenment, the goal is peace. The goal is not enlightenment, the goal is love. if you place peace and love as your goal, you will probably have enlightenment, if you want that. The spirit makes no use of mind as means to follow its self-expression, and the mind which serves the spirit is at peace and filled with joy. Its power comes from spirit, and it is fulfilling happily its function here. Yet mind can also see itself divorced from spirit and perceive itself within a body it confuses with itself. Without its function, then it has no peace, and happiness is alien to its thoughts. So we've all had this experience where we kind of confuse ourselves with the identities that we're playing here. You know, you even see that in Hollywood where people play a part and then they get so lost in the part, they, forget their other self. But actually the other self and the role that they're playing are both illusions. But we do that here. We start to focus on the idea that we are these personalities and what's going to happen to Maureen and how is Maureen going to get her good, and none of that is important to playing out the role that God has for me, because when I play out that role, everything that I need is given to me and supplied perfectly in perfect timing. I know, go figure. God doesn't play favorites, so this is true for all of us. So it says, yet mind apart from spirit cannot think it has denied its source of strength and see itself as helpless, limitless, and weak. Disassociated from its function now, it thinks it is alone and separate, attacked by armies massed against itself and hiding in the body's frail support. Now must it reconcile unlike with like, for this is what it thinks that it is for. Waste no more time on this. Waste no more time on this. Who can resolve the senseless conflict which a dream presents? What could the resolution mean in truth? What purpose could it serve? What is it for? Salvation cannot make illusions real, nor solve a problem that does not exist. Perhaps you hope it can, yet would you have God's plan for the release of his dear son bring pain to him and fail to set him free? So God's plan is one of peace, and peace holds no pain, no suffering, and no sacrifice. So if you're feeling, pain, suffering, separation, or sacrifice, you can pretty much be sure that you haven't yet relinquished your own plan for the plan of God. That's the good news and the bad news. Your self retains its thoughts, and they remain within your mind and in the mind of God. The Holy Spirit holds salvation in your mind and offers it the way to peace. Salvation is a thought you share with God. I like to change up the word salvation for peace, because I just, so peace is the thought you share with God, because his voice accepts it for you and answers in your name that it was done. Thus is salvation kept among the thoughts yourself holds dear and cherishes for you. Thus is peace kept among the thoughts yourself, capital S, holds dear and cherishes for you. Is peace a thought that you cherish? Is that really a thought that you cherish? I had a friend one time tell me, when it came to war, and she's Christian, that there are holy wars that need to be fought. And I said, really? You believe that? You believe that war is going to bring us to a place of peace? War can never bring peace. Only peace can bring peace. And peace begins with us. So I made peace with my friend. I just said, okay, you could be right. We will attempt today to find this thought whose presence in your mind is guaranteed by him who speaks to you from your one self. Our hourly 5-minute practicing will be a searching for him within your mind. Salvation comes from this one self through him who is the bridge between your mind and it. I love to think as like Holy Spirit or Jesus or God as this bridge, this bridge that supports us. I think it's the Holy Spirit that's the bridge. Waiting patiently and let him speak to you about yourself and what your mind can do. Restore to it and free its service, free to serve its will. Begin with saying this: salvation comes from my one self. Its thoughts are mine to use. Then seek its thoughts and claim them as your own. These are your own real thoughts. you have denied, and let your mind go wandering into a world of dreams to find illusions in their place. Here are your thoughts, the only ones you have, and salvation is among them. Find it there. If you succeed, the thoughts that come to you will tell you you are saved and that your mind has found the function that it sought to lose. Yourself will welcome it and give it peace, restored in strength. It will again flow out from spirit to spirit in all things created by spirit in it as itself. Your mind will bless all things. Confusion done. You are restored, for you have found yourself. So it's saying, like, accept this truth that you are holy, move in a state of holiness, just play around with it, and you will experience Holy Communion with everything. You know, every person, every place, everything, you will see spirit within it. That's a lovely way to navigate the world. That's how we can change this experience of separation into the happy dream. Yourself knows that you cannot fail today. Perhaps your mind remains uncertain yet a little while, but be not dismayed by this. The joy yourself experiences will save for you and will be yours in full awareness. Every time you spend 5 minutes of the hour seeking Him who joins your mind and self, you offer Him another treasure to be kept for you. Every time today you tell your frantic mind, salvation comes from my one self, you lay another treasure in your growing store, and all of it is given everyone who asks for it and will accept the gift. Think then how much is given unto you to give this day, that it be given you. So, Course in Miracles tells us that we can't give what we don't have. So as we accept this for ourselves, we're able to share it in the world. And every time we share it in the world, the idea is strengthened for us. So this is a beautiful concept. In the mathematics of the world, we think if I give my brother an apple, I no longer have that apple. But in the concepts of A Course in Miracles, we could say, if I give my brother an apple, I am investing in the idea of the opulence of God, and my apples will be guaranteed. Now it sounds funny to be using apple math, like we did when we were little. If I have 2 apples and he has 10 apples and they have 6 apples, how many apples? So anyway, here's a little riddle for you. You can count the number of seeds in an apple, but you can't count the number of apples in a seed. So that's the lesson today. The lesson today is to begin to embody your whole and holy purpose in God. Let go of all alien and alternate scripts and ideas that you might hold of yourself, and begin to recognize yourself as good and beautiful and holy. And as you do so, you will not only find peace, but you will extend it out into the world. If I can do this, anybody can do it. God bless. Have a good day.